Hi, this is Darno at Way Over Recipes, and this is my follow-up review of the Megahome SBS Water Distiller. I've been using it for well over 30 days now, almost a couple of months now, but I wanted to do a follow-up to basically talk about my experiences with it over time, also to do a water quality test with you, just to show you the water that goes in versus the water that comes out. I've got a water quality tester for that. But wanted to talk to you about a few things first. If you're wanting to see a lot of other details about how to unbox and put this thing together and how to go about a lot of other details are not going to be covered in this video because I covered them in the initial review. So it's important, if you have not already seen it, to see the initial review. If there's anything you still have questions about, go check that out, because there's a lot there that I'm not going to cover again here. So I've got my notes about just some points that I wanted to mention to start off. And first thing I do want to mention again is that this is the SBS model. Nothing touches any aluminum in this model. They make different models. You want to make sure that you get the model that doesn't have any parts touching aluminum. That is of literally critical importance. You don't want aluminum in your life. And so basically, first thing I want to say, because I've seen basically online when people give reviews of this water distiller, I think sometimes maybe they're talking about the models that have places where the water might touch aluminum, and they're talking about they taste metal and this and that. I have to say, with this SBS model, my water has never tasted like any metal. It's always tasted pure. So I want to point that out. I've never had issues with that. I initially, for the first month, I used just one filter in here. I did get some more filters, and after the first month, I've put a second filter in. So now I'm using two filters instead of one, but never had any water taste quality type of issues. It's just that I figure you can put two in, and I got a bunch more. I'll do two instead of one because it's two. But really no other real reason why. So yeah, covered that. So I want to get through my notes here. Basically, I also wanted to say that I use it at least once a day. Usually once, and some days twice a day, because I use it for all my water needs. I use it for my drinking water. I use it for my water for cooking. I use it basically for all the water that I'm using in tea, or I'll have some green tea. So organic green tea, by the way. I'll use it for that. So if I'm cooking with water, or if I'm drinking water, any water that I know is going to, in some way or form, go into my body, I use the water distiller. As I mentioned in the initial review, you can add minerals, do coherency for your water, and all that good stuff too. That was mentioned there. The only other thing that I wanted to mention before going into the water quality testing is that the cleaning process that I mentioned that you would do maybe once every 4 weeks, it does get any residue that sticks to the bottom off. Basically, you take the lid off, as I mentioned, you put the cleaner that I showed you in, and you run it without this top part on, and this bottom part will just heat the water to a light boil. You let that roll for about 30 minutes, and you see all the stuff that was stuck to the bottom come right up and off. That stuff doesn't come off when you're washing it by hand or anything like that between uses. It only comes off using that type of a cleaner or something else that you run with the lid off so that it can get that stuff off of the bottom. And I basically talked about that cleaner in the initial review. But the stuff that comes off the bottom is, of course, junk that was in your water that the distiller is getting out of your water, which is always a good thing. But now we're going to get into the whole water quality testing and all that good stuff. So I filled the water distiller with tap water, and I've got a TDS water tester here, and basically you just turn it on, and I'm going to switch its settings so that basically you hit the shift button a couple times. It goes to showing Fahrenheit for water in ppm. That's the way I want to measure things. So I just drop it into the water, and it's giving me a reading. And while it's in there giving me a reading, I'm going to hit the hold button so that it stays fixed on that for a moment so that you can get a good look. You can see my tap water in this water distiller with some stuff, you know, because it's been used for a while, on the bottom of it is at a 0058, and that's, well, making sure that you can see it, it's a 0058. That's not pure water. Pure water is 0000. 4 zeros straight across the board is what you need for pure water. And we see that my water temperature is like 79 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to go ahead and get the water distiller going, and we'll see what happens with the output from the water distiller. I do have the water distiller on a little pad that is just a heat resistant pad, since I'm running it on this countertop, and it's a pad I got when I got the Melty crisp lid. I don't know if any of you remember the old Melty crisp lid, but it had a little heat resistant pad came with it, and it comes in handy for things like this. I'm just going to get the power cord to plug the power into the back of it, and I don't want to stop the video while I grab the power cord because I want you to know that I'm not doing anything shady here, although I'm not going to show 5.5 hours of time-lapse video, so you'll just have to trust me on that one. But plugging it in here, and so you see with the pad it's just a tad higher than it normally would be, as it was in the initial test, but it's still over the lip of the catcher here, the jug that'll catch it. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit the button, and it takes 5.5 hours. As you saw in the initial review, after maybe 45 minutes or so, I forget, it's in the old original review, but it'll start dripping, but it's just drip, 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 drip till it's done. So, Lord willing, see you in about 5.5 hours. So actually 6 hours have passed now. It takes 5.5 to make the distilled water, and then I usually wait another 30 minutes because water continues to drip from here for a little while afterwards. Plus, you got to wait for the distiller to cool down before you can clean it out or anything like that. So I usually just wait like maybe another 30 minutes after it's done, just for things to cool down and for there to be no more drip, drip, drip coming out of the spout here. But I want to get right into testing this water, so just going to get the lid out of the way, and I've got the TDS tester here. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to hit that shift button twice to get the temperature in Fahrenheit, and we drop it in, and I'm going to hit the hold. You might be able to see. So as we see here, we've got 4 zeros right across the board. Pure water. That's pure water, and it's 84.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So basically, you know, it did the job and it tested out perfect. So the distiller does a perfect job. Nothing but water, pure water comes out. And once you get your pure water out, you can do with it as you please. I'm going to go ahead and just pop the top of this thing so that you can see all the gook that's inside. I have to, you know, next time I do a monthly cleaning, I'll get it out, but probably won't be doing a video about that because it's not exciting enough to me to make a video. But you see the lid here, it's pretty clean. The lid stays pretty clean. Usually I'll just, you know, wipe down that interior there of that stuff. And I just use like a regular, like soap and water cleaning for it. And, I mean, I don't get too bent out of shape of it not being the purest cleaner to clean the inside. It's a distiller, so it should bring pure water out in the end anyway, and it does. So I just use regular old dish soap and water. I do use a cleaner type of a dish soap. I do try and get one of the ones with less chemicals, just one at the store that have less chemicals. But you see inside all that gook that is on the bottom. That's the stuff that comes off when you do the, like, every 4-week cleaning that I talked about earlier and that I've talked about in the initial review. So that's the inside, and we see we got our pure water. That's basically all there is to it. So there you have it. Finished off nice with pure clean water. Does what it's supposed to do, and it tests out perfect. So happy about that. And so nothing in this video is sponsored. In the video description, there's lots of ways to help this channel, such as my cookbook, donations, merch, memberships, all that good stuff there. There'll be a link to my Amazon shop and a water section in the Amazon shop that I link to that has the water distiller. I'll also add the TDS tester there for testing water for water quality, purity. And so you can get all that stuff there, pay the same price, help this channel out. And so with all of that said, if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification icon, and good eating.